without Kyrie Irving, do you view the Nets as being better than the Bucks?
I do. I feel bad for the Bucks. You know, like, what else do they need to do? They won a title. Drew Holiday became one of the 10 best defensive players in the NBA. He's like suddenly the third guy in a big three. Literally nobody thought that before the postseason. Chris Middleton is clearly good enough to be the second best player on a championship team. And meanwhile, while all of that is happening, the Brooklyn Nets are the most embarrassing story in the NBA this side of the Philadelphia 76ers. And they lose one of their three best players, the best ball handler of all time. And it doesn't really matter because I'm still like, yeah, give me the team with Kevin Durant and James Harden on it. I am sorry that you went through all that trouble of winning a title only to basically arrive at the same place as if you didn't.
I just want to know which side of the 76ers you're putting them on. So are they on the more embarrassing or less embarrassing side? Because they are squarely on the less embarrassing side to me.
So quick tweet update. Shams Charania has tweeted, quote, sources, Doc Rivers asked Ben Simmons to join a defensive drill today. Simmons refused. Rivers asked again. Simmons said no again. Rivers then told Simmons he should go home, and Simmons dropped the ball and left. So I'm going to go with the Nets being less embarrassing.
Okay. Just making sure. I thought you were trying to bend the truth a little bit. So, like, the Nets, their only embarrassing thing is Kyrie seeming to search for something that is not there and aimlessly giving these Instagram live explanations that don't have one explanation in them. It's confusing and upsetting for him, who seems like a generally good dude who's misguided. But they got two really, really talented basketball players that could quite possibly be two of the top five in the NBA. When you have that and a good supporting cast, then I feel like their ceiling is higher than the Bucks, because they barely beat the Bucks last year without James Harden.
I don't know which one won. I mean, I think there's something to say for it's very hard to imagine me betting against a team that's already done it and knows how to do it. Also, I don't know what the ceiling is on Giannis. I really don't. Based on how he blew up in the finals last year and throughout the playoffs, I know that seems like, well, that's as good as he's going to get. We might be wrong. I mean, he might be even better, especially as a team player with another year with them. I don't know. And there is also this. James Harden in the playoffs, personally entertaining for me, nightmarish for anyone who's following his team.
Yes. No, James Harden ritualistically winds up soiling beds. That's his playoff history. It's pretty objectively true. And yeah, I mean, look, he was hurt at the end of the postseason run last year, so I give him a pass on that. And actually, relative expectation, he was fine. But what Spencer just brought up there about Giannis is, I think, really funny about the NBA, because while basically every star in the NBA is embarrassing themselves in one way or another, getting themselves into some sort of meme-driven controversy one way or another, all Giannis does is become more adorably himself. It's unbelievable. It's like, oh, Kyrie Irving is vaccine averse, if not anti-vax or anti-vax, whatever his explanation indicated. Giannis is here to do PSAs about standing up in a public health crisis for your fellow man. Ben Simmons doesn't want to shoot and is getting kicked out of practice as opposed to paying someone to get punched in the face by him in a larger scandal that we proposed earlier. Would have been a far better idea. What does Giannis do? He's taken pull-up threes in the preseason. It's amazing. And he's just beloved by everybody. Like, that is part of the frustration if you're a Bucks fan. What else do you need from us?
That's fair. And Giannis, presumably there's some psychological boost that comes with winning a championship. Like, there's some confidence that comes with that could take him to another level. I feel like that's probably, if not just something I've made up in my mind, potentially something that is statistically accurate. If not, y'all can't look it up, so I'm going to say it's real. That's a thing that matters, and I think that this team could benefit from that. They're bringing back most of the stars. But the problem with all of this is, I guess the question is, do you think KD at this somewhat diminished state, I guess, is better than Giannis?
Yeah,
and that's if KD is better than Giannis, which it seemed like, I'd rather have KD in most moments.
Yes.
And KD's done it. All the stuff that we're talking about Giannis in that team has won. Like KD's won a championship. And then if his number 2 is James Harden, is that not like the bed soiling you're talking about for James Harden is not a James Harden as a number 2. It's James Harden trying to carry a team in Houston that was completely built around him and doesn't really have the support he needed to succeed.
Well, Spencer, this is like the secret of NBA analysis, right? Like you could do all of this analysis, all this talking, all this watching of games. And then it comes down to looking at the best 3 guys on a given team and being like, which guys do I want more? And you go, Kevin Durant, Giannis. Okay, maybe that's a toss-up. Then James Harden, Chris Middleton, and you're like, okay, this is over. Like, we just get the memes now. Yeah. That's how NBA analysis really works, to be honest with you.
There's also this. The season's going to have a different wear and tear than last season, because last season was intense. Last season was, by all accounts, a serious load and heavy on fatigue for the players. It's going to be different. Like if people say the Bucks lucked out into a title, I don't know. Teams always luck out when it comes to injury. There's always some sort of context for every single champion that isn't like the Bulls, right? Like that isn't like the dynastic Bulls. Everyone else, there's something that broke their way.
Yeah, something that they benefited from or the opposite. And nobody wants to hear those excuses in the end. All we do is throw logs under the fire to tell you that, in fact, my favorite player, my dad, in fact, can beat up your dad. That's the other big part of NBA analysis.
Who do you want to win? I got, out of both of you, who do you want to win the championship? And Pablo, I'm assuming you're not going to say the 76ers.
Well, you're saying if I don't pay $50,000 to have that scenario unfold specifically.
Who do you want?
Yeah, I mean, the Brooklyn Nets, I'm in favor of simply for this reason. I can go to those games pretty easily, and that's something that does excite me.
You're so selfish.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.